are going to try and go live. I'm trying to go live on my second channel, Omega Solutions as well. So we're gonna call this DevLog 3 multiplayer using Godot and Aseprite as like our tools of trade, our tools of trade at least. So welcome back, everybody. Hope you're having a great day like I am. I went and mowed my lawn this morning, went and clipped my dog. When I say clip my dog, I mean I cut my dog's fur off. Just because my dog is an Australian Shepherd. Go check out her YouTube channel. But it was very shaggy, and we wanted to get her nice and crispy clean. So good. But today we are going to be working with Godot. And with that Godot, I have a plan. But let's give you a recap, because off live stream on our devlogs, I've been doing a lot of work on this game stuff. So let's just press and play and just show you what is going on. So we have a start. It has audio, and it has a little particle animation. I learned a little bit about the particle system. So we have like this fun fire thing. We have a fun little Easter egg at the top, where when the fire comes to the top, if people wait long enough before they press start. But then you press start and it goes here. Now, as you can tell, it looks a little different than before if you were watching some of my live streams before. Before I had that continue whatever button. But why would you have a continue or load world button when there's no save file? So I made it so if there's no save file, it does not show those. But with that, I do want to try to get this more centered, not like down here. So that's something that I'll have to work on later. I put that as a note of things I need to work on. Also, I have a settings button. Look at that, settings, and I can turn up the volume. It actually doesn't really turn up that much, but it does turn down to 0. I don't know, for some reason from 50 to like 100, there's like barely any difference. So that's something I gotta do. I got a joystick dead zone, so that changes the dead zone of your joysticks if your joysticks are crap. I technically, I don't know, when I hooked up my joystick or like my my Xbox controller, it kind of had like a little bit of stutter and everything. So I just put a 0.1 dead zone, so like 10% of the dead zone is there. So that's a thing. I have escape and it exits out, and exit the game, and also my character moves. But we're not gonna worry about that right now. Today we want to set it up so we have 2 characters moving. But with that, it's gonna come with a lot of hurdles. The hurdles are basically we need to set up like 2 controllers in a more dynamic range and stuff. I think last night when I was like sitting on the toilet, I did find myself a tutorial for how to do local multiplayer. So I think we're gonna steal from that tutorial here. This guy was awesome and gave like a freaking essay of a tutorial, like how to do thing. So we're gonna basically copy off of this guy's thing and see what we can do with it. So he basically highlights the high level of what it's gonna look like, and then he goes into how to build it. So we're gonna basically follow this and see if it works, or if it works the way we want to. So actually I might need to do some reading during this live stream. So let's do some reading, because yes, we like to read. Okay. Actually, let me also, I'm gonna go live on Twitch. I do not pay attention to Twitch chat, so if you're on Twitch, sorry, you're not getting chat. Or you just won't be seeing much, at least. Actually, I guess I could here. Let me open up Twitch and just put it in like, I have like a teeny little monitor. It's actually not too teeny, but it's teeny for me, because I got like a few bigger monitors. Just like in the top right, that like, it just shows my stuff. So we're just gonna put that in the top right, and I guess I can see a Twitch live stream for anybody that wants to do stuff. Okay, all right, let's get started. All right, so I guess I can start at the top. I came across your post, blah, blah, blah. So basically what we're gonna need to do is there is going to be a main game scene, which I do create a character body in it, but in that game scene, you're gonna have a world, and you're also gonna have player 1 through whatever player, and also a background level. So basically the game can operate as the world, and within that world you have character bodies and stuff like that. So that's basically how he describes it. World has a number of players. Player finds out how many controllers are connected to the world using methods add player, remove player. Okay, so he's basically saying that like depending on how many controllers there are, it will automatically update how many players there might be in the world. And with that, it will add players and maybe even split the screen, which will be actually pretty cool. So yeah, we're going to go to this. Actually, I have it right here. So this generates a settings menu when this is created, and a tutorial menu when that is created. So what we need to do is be able to call these functions that check what joysticks are connected, and it will generate off of that. All right, function on joy connection changed. Use a device to figure out which blah 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 blah. All right. So world.gd defines a function add player. So we're gonna do a couple functions here. So let's do func add underscore player. So we're gonna create this function, which will be awesome for us. I'm gonna put pass in there for now. So it initiates a player, a scene player dot whatever. Append that player instance to the array of players. Add the number as a child. Wait, add the player as a child node of the world. Node assigns values to the player's properties. Okay. So my game in the end game is going to be weird. We're not going to worry about it. I kind of want my game to be roguelike, meaning that your players do need to maintain properties, but I don't feel like doing that right now. Just like properties of different players. We'll do that another day. So we're going to do a little bit of like on ready. We're going to establish a couple things. So let's do var players equals empty list. I think we're going to do just that. So there's going to be a bunch of players or actually let's call this player list. I like player list as a thing. So we're going to do player list. Player list will have basically an instantiation player, add the player instance, number of arrays. So I think I'm going to delete my player, to be honest. But we won't worry about that right quite yet. All right, assign player position and appearance might sound unrelated to the controller question, but to satisfy the works up to n players requirement, everything needs to be automated. So func add player needs to handle all assignments in a scalable way, not just two approaches that are both scalable. So generate random values, create a dictionary where players is number is the dictionary key and the value, the player color. Interesting. All right, let's go to our player controller. I do have this guy talks about how we need to set up a player controller. So actions are the keys and input mats. These keys are string mimic Godot's default input map strings. This example shows a typical mapping. Blah, blah. To make above code scalable using string.format to suffix the keys with the controller device number. Oh. Why do we have a fire crackle thing? I don't know why you call this fire crackle, whatever, but I think I want to rename that. I just realized we have something that needs to be renamed. Fire crackle sound, I think. There, we got a fire crackle sound. We just got edited there. Let me quickly go to player controller. So this is where I set up like all the different controls for a player. So typically you have like var input map. You have this is the input map, but we want to do this scalable. So, technically, I don't think I used this at all. So let's like convert this into what we need. So we're gonna do var input underscore map equals. We're gonna make a dictionary. So in this dictionary, we're gonna do a UI underscore write. We're gonna do a vector to. Oh wait. This is doing like controls. This is up, down, left, right motions. I guess we still do this. Yeah, I think we do get this, but we. I'm gonna spaghetti code this a little bit. All right, to make the above control scalable using format to suffix, we're gonna do. So this guy says we do something like this. So basically what it's doing is we're gonna have a UI right, left, up, down with a player number next to it. And we format that to player index. And we vector write that stuff. Okay. Automate assigning the input map to the player. Make an array of input maps when a player or new player is added. Append the input map as a. Sorry, I just had to pet my dog for a second there because my dog's cute. I just was thinking about my dog and how cute my dog was. All right. Automate assigning the input map to the player. Make an array of input maps. When a new player is added, append the input map as defined in the string above the player index. The device number is substituted for n. So to summarize so far, as players are added, add player creates these input map directions and adds them to the player inputs. Now to edit the input map that connects the input event joypad motion, action events will action defines the input, blah, blah, blah. All right, so function add player. Because we have add player in our game function. So function add player is going to take a couple things. It's going to take player index, which we had set up before, and we're going to put an int in there. We're going to push this to void. Wait, why is it wanting to push us to void? I don't know why. The code in my repository, blah, 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 in the script world. Here's an example to joypad write. Oh, wow. Var write action string. Var write action event input joypad motion. Actually, wait, let me go back to input joypad motion. I think I have player. Where's my player controller? My player controller right here has get action raw strength. That's how I like determine like analog movement. I don't know. Let's just try doing this. So we do var write action string var write action action event we're gonna make this input event joypad motion. So we're gonna have those two var variables that we can be able to establish right off the bat and use. All right, so we create an input event instance. So we're gonna take write action. Yeah, we're gonna take write action. We're gonna set that equal to, just like we did in the other thing, we're gonna set that equal to this. So this is the formatting that we had in the first instance, right? Vector 2 write blah blah blah. Okay, this is write that format. So we're setting like that input in there. That's the UI write format, this chunk. That's this chunk. Okay. So we're setting that in there. Input dot add action write action. So we're adding actions to our input map, which our input map is technically, if we go to project settings, I'm pretty sure that this is input map. So we're literally manually adding input maps, like chunks upon demand. That's how we're going to be doing this. Okay, that's interesting. Create new input event instance to assign the input map. So we're going to do write action event equals input event joypad motion dot new so we're taking this write action event, we're setting it to new motion. That's an equal sign, not a minus sign. So we have that. Then we want to set a device, so we do write action event equals input event action motion. Wait, input event joypad motion. There we are. motion.new. Oh wait, I just did that line. What am I doing? I already did that line above. This is what happens when I'm not paying attention to like stuff and I'm reading other stuff on the side. All right, so we got write action. We're gonna draw this write action event dot device equals player index. All right, and then we got write action event dot axis equals. So we're gonna set the axis because we need to know our axis if we want to do actual analog. Joy axis. What's my typing today? How do I even type a W? Joy axis underscore 0. And then write underscore action event dot axis value is going to be equal to 1.0. That's just right. All right. And then we're going to do input map dot action add event write action and then write action event. All right, so that's basically setting it so input map we have an event that calls an action to move right. This is just for write. Gosh darn it, a ton. When the controller disconnects, the player automatically stops moving. Obviously, the player must stop moving because there's no joypad motion action events incoming for that player. And then when that player reconnects, the player starts moving again. This action comes for free with this solution because everything world needs to know about the player, like which controller is mapped to this player, is still in the player instance in the array of players. When the controller reconnects, is assigned to the lowest available device numbers. So the device number still matches the correct player index into the array of players. To provide visual feedback, when a player is disconnected, reconnected, I have a dead appearance and a live appearance. When a controller disconnects, I set the alpha 2.3, making it appear faded out. When the controller reconnects, restore alpha to 1. Okay. So, let me think about this for a second. Right action. Wait, why is this strategy not declared in the current scope? Joy axis 0. Why is that not declared? Trigger left, trigger right, right X. All right. I think we just have different stuff. Here, I'm gonna do something like that. I'm gonna delete the character. Okay, so when we enter the thing, it's gonna create a tutorial stuff, throw that tutorial thing in. Actually, speaking of tutorial thing, I don't think I need that vector. If I need that vector, then I need to set that in other settings. Okay, so we need to set input settings. That's settings menu. We do want to create the settings menu upon creation of stuff. Let me see. I might do some inspiration checking by looking at some other people's code for how they did this. So draw runs once the shortly after runs to do this is a delay responding to the motion input when debugging equals true. Like whole debugging. This guy has like a pretty elaborate game setup. This guy has a whole. Okay, I'm gonna do a couple things here. So we're gonna do func, remove, func remove player. I need to like move over so I can actually type a little better or something. Okay. Func remove player. So we're gonna do player underscore index. We're gonna do int. So that's gonna be equal to or send to void. I don't know why we're sending it to void technically, but we're just gonna do it. Or show in some way that the player is inactive. For now, I leaves the player disconnected on screen and do nothing. The player is technically still in play and the other players can interact with it, but the player cannot be controlled because the joystick is disconnected. When the joystick reconnects, controller is restored. So we're gonna do emit, or just emit signal, disconnected. And then we're gonna do that to player we have a player list up. Yeah, we do have a player list up. Player list player index dot player name. We still don't have adding to players and stuff, so we might need to add the player. Number of connected joysticks. Parent set number is based on number of connected joysticks. If no parent, default to 4 for testing. We're gonna set some player stuff here. So for player index. Wait, do we set the player index here in this thing? Var number of players is gonna be int equals 1. I think I just want to set it to 1 as default. Var player list. I'm gonna do this as an array equal to blank array. And then we're gonna have an input map section. So it's gonna be var input maps. It's gonna be array equals. So we're gonna set an array for input maps that we can build a sign upon generation of players and stuff like that. So we'll do that. My joystick connects. Signal connected. Signal connected. This is kind of interesting. I don't know what this is exactly. All right, so we have a couple signals. These signals are gonna be so when we have like players connect and disconnect and stuff like that. We're gonna have a player list. This is gonna be our just like all of our stuff. We're gonna have input maps. So we're gonna have input maps and we're gonna have number of players. And that's gonna be equal to 1. All right, so we create stuff for preload. So this preload loads the player scene. This loads a player. All right, so we have function file ready. Player, add players to match number of connected joysticks. So we do var, or no, for player index in range num players. We're gonna do add underscore player underscore index. Num players. Gonna have num players like that. For limit and blah blah blah. So this will be like for every player we add a player. If num players equals 0, for keyboard single player. We'll fix this later, yeah. Use equals true for player in range 4, add player. Players, blah 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 blah. How does use keyboard? At onReady var use underscore keyboard. We're gonna set this to bool false. So this will set keyboard usage. Game grid stuff, randomization stuff. I gotta like figure out a couple things. We have a add player function, we have a remove player function, we have a miss signal and disconnected whenever a player disconnects. Add a player to the game, index to index if player, index is less than players dot size. Okay, I think I got this. So what we're gonna do, so we have add player, we need like when a player adds, it needs to like emit some connections kind of stuff. So we're gonna do if player index is less than play, what is it? Player list dot size. We're going to emit signal. That emit signal is going to be connected. And then we're gonna set that to players or play crap. Your list player index. And then we're gonna do dot player name. And then we'll return. So, add code to retrieve old player. I'll need to revive once I've coded coded removal. For now, I leave this disconnected player on screen and do nothing. So there's nothing to do to revive the player. They reconnect their joystick and they can move again. Change the property player connected, and the player should be the one to interrupt this, as a change in alpha world should not know how player visualizes itself with block. Interesting. Okay. I don't know why we need a return there. I think we want a return there, even though this guy has a return in his code. When I'm looking at it, it doesn't look quite right. You realize you can get AI to just write all this for you, right? I could get the AI to write this all for me, but then I have no idea what it's doing. So it's better to like learn as you go, because then you can actually do more stuff. So you're right in the sense that yes, it can do a lot of the work for you, but you're wrong in the sense that I won't actually know what my game is doing, though then the quality of my game would be worse. There's a big difference. Like, I use AI all the time in my job. Just like coding just random blocks of stuff. So yeah. Okay. Clearly you don't understand how coding works. I don't know. Like, I'm sorry there, bro, but like, get a job. Okay. So players. I'm sorry. I was being a punk there. We actually want to be player list. So when we have a new player connected, we want to add to our player list. So we're gonna add player list dot append. And with that, we will add that new player. Player underscore scene. Oh, we're gonna have to add a player scene, aren't we? This is a new player. Append that player instance to okay, so we're gonna need to add that player here. You know what? I just gonna start stopping like. If I write to the CEO, it'll be 57% more efficient. Do you realize how game engines work? Like, do you? It's really not gonna be much different. Like, with how small this game is, it's basically gonna do nothing. So yeah, whatever. So player scene. So we need to add a player scene instance. We're gonna instantiate it. Where do I do my player scenes? I'm gonna have to add a player scene in here. So let's grab player and just append player list dot append. Wait, if I did a player scene right here. Okay. You know what I love about being like owning my own thing? What I love about having my own channel and everything, I can just block you. And then I don't have to hear from you again. Because clearly, I don't need you. Okay. And my wife has just gone home, so I might have to end this live stream early. But I'm not quite done yet. Okay, player instance, we append a player, we're gonna have to do a player scene and all that in live streaming. Yes. One second. Okay, I think we're gonna have to mute the live stream for a second. I gotta go and do something like within 15 minutes just on my phone here. So, have fun, guys. Should I play some music for you guys? I should play some music. And I'm back. All right, guys, let's get back to programming because, yes, I just had to send a text off to family and stuff. Mother's Day is coming up. Make sure you appreciate your mothers. All right, where were we? We left off with adding player. We're trying to figure out how we would append that player to a list so that these players can, be reconnected as they come and stuff like that. So how do we do that? I don't know. I was kind of thinking I append a scene, but that doesn't work. You don't want to append a scene to a player list. You want to append a player or something like that. So actually, let me see. Player underscore scene. Yeah, it's just not declared. It's not a thing. How would I declare a new scene? Or actually, let me see what this guy's code has to offer, because this guy is coding in a different earlier version of this Godot language. So I gotta be careful with how I use this because it's different. Ah, I see. So this guy preloads a scene like this. He adds up here, so we can probably just do the same thing for ourselves. So we're gonna do a const a player scene equals preload, and then we're going to do we're gonna need to add that scene. So I think we could literally just plop it in there like that. I think that's how I can do it. Yeah. All right, so I think I can do it that way. And we can throw that player scene down here now in the add player. Instead of this, we do we can do player dot instance. Okay. Oh wait, player scene not declared. Didn't I just declare you? Player scene dot instance. Let me double check. Ah, I see. We need to have this declared before the instantiating of all this stuff. So we're just gonna put it above here. So we put that up here. And we instance that player scene. That makes it so it'll recreate that player scene and we can be able to work from there. We refer to this just added player as player for readability. Wait. So I think we're gonna need to add this player here, where we're just gonna do the var. This guy is just like player list, and then we just take a -1 of that value, which that'll grab that player's name, and then it'll be able to move from there to actually do stuff. All right, to do right into the list of colors so that I am not limited to 4 players. Okay, limited player change their color before the game begins. I don't care about colors exactly. I'm gonna skip all this stuff that this guy has for his code. We don't need any of that code. It's all just fluff code to just make it so players can have different colors and different things that we don't need. So player.connect, set up collision response, input maps.pend. All right, so alpha. I'm trying to understand how some of these things work. They have like a whole collision system here, but we're not quite at collision system yet, so I think I'm going to not worry about collision. We have input map. Yeah, we already declared. Wait. Yeah, we have an input map declared right here. So we can use that same input map for stuff right after here. So we're gonna have that input map in here that we can be able to do stuff. So we will do that stuff. where did the input map stuff come from? Here we are. All right, so let's do some input maps. So input maps. Wait, do I have input maps? Yeah, I have input maps. So input maps.append. We're gonna append this new player's input map. So in order to append somebody's new input map, we're gonna have to do some dictionary stuff. That is gonna be fun. So we're gonna do UI write play. Okay, I think this is where I'm gonna have to do this stuff. UI write and the format, and then we have the input index, and we're gonna set that input index to write. So that's where it's gonna get some fun stuff going on. So we're gonna copy this whole chunk right here. We're gonna throw this chunk in here. So input map index right, and then we're gonna set that to a vector so we can be able to like vector2 dot right. Yes. All right. And we have to do this for everything. So let's do this. UI for everything. Let's copy and paste this like a couple times. 1, 2, 3. All right. So we're gonna have input UI right. We gotta have input UI left. So we gotta have input UI up, and we gotta have input UI down. All right. So that is all gonna have the left. Whoops, I'm typing awfully. We're gonna have up. We're gonna have down. Okay, closes after dictionary element. We also need to have commas between all of these, else it wouldn't work that well. Maybe have a comma here as well, just in case if we add more input mapping in the future. What is this, bro? Which language, which game? This is in Godot, so it's Godot's proprietary language. It basically is like, it's like Python. It looks like Python, and it has some syntax kind of like Java or C#. But it essentially looks like Python to me, at least. I'm a Python programmer, and I look at it, I'm like, this looks exactly like Python, just like a few things are different. Like instead of def, it's function, and for like var is used for declaring a variable, which that's kind of like a Java kind of feeling thing. We're basically trying to create a dynamic co-op kind of feel. So we're basically making it so with multiple controllers, you can like it automatically will update players to add new players. So it's not doing stuff like that. It's a pretty advanced thing. Probably like if you're like learning Godot by tutorials, it's probably like hour 5 to 10 like of watching tutorials. So we're kind of learning that on the fly right now. That's kind of where we're at. Can't find constant left on vector base. Oh, whoops, this needs to be all caps left. There we go. All right, that fixed that. All right. So we have the input map that we're appending. That's all. That's kind of good stuff. Good stuff. Delicious. All right. So we're gonna have to get their UI elements so the players actually use these input maps for stuff. So we're gonna do player dot player. Player dot what is it? UI. Give me a second. I gotta look something up. I think we got an issue here. One second. We might have. Wait, when I create a player. How does this programming language work when it comes to like actually inputting stuff in? Because this is just a variable, but can we like in this programming language, can we like pre-assign like or make these variables have elements? That might be interesting. I want to try this. Input equals input maps, and then player index. How does this work? This is just a variable player list. Oh, I see. Because it's a actual player within that player list. So it actually does have a UI input, and that will have input maps. Okay, that makes sense. Actually, that works pretty well. Solid, solid, solid. Okay. Use controllers. Assign the joystick device number to this player. Player is the player one device. Is the player's joystick device number? If not, keyboard. So this guy in his code has that I'm copying off of basically, but like trying to understand and figure this out. He has a whole system set up so that like it basically uses only controllers, but if there's no controllers present, it will use the keyboard. I do like my thing to be more dynamic than that, where it will use the keyboard and controllers, but we will worry about that later. I'm just gonna copy him now just because I think that might be easier for us in the long run. So we're just gonna do that. So player dot device number equals player index. So we're just gonna make it so that their device, like their which device they're using is equal to their player. Like that's the name of the device, basically. So that'll do that. Let me like enter that fuse just so while I keep track of stuff. Interesting. I'm kind of thinking I might just copy and paste this guy's stuff here. I don't feel like dealing with some of that stuff, so I think we're just gonna do that. But I want to read his notes here. This guy has really helpful. He has a lot of notes in his code. Edit the input map to match the names used in the input map assignments. For example, default input map has name UI left. I use the same default names but with a device number suffix. So UI left becomes UI left 0, left 1, etc. Okay, so code. I create the string and the input map joy mode in a for loop so that there are unique instances of each. Then you point if a defined input motion pad, which is like this, outside the for loop, then there is only one instance is a memory, or it checks if there's an instance in the memory. Each time I update this instance with settings for the next player, the previous players are still looking at that same instance. So by the end of the loop, all players are connected by the last controller connected. No good. For readability, I make variations to temporarily point to the string that identifies the action and the input joy motion that defines the action event. Also, I don't know how to set priorities in the new method, so I need a variable to refer back to the input method. So it's the properties. Interesting. This guy has so much helpful crap in this thing, or not? I said crap, but it's actually this is genius stuff. Oh gosh. Oh, this guy has a huge chunk of stuff. I'm going to spaghetti code this. Let me check this thing. This guy has so much stuff that I'm just like, I'm not gonna copy or like, okay, let's just read through this really quick. All right, so we have right action. So whenever we have a moving right, it'll format that player for player index. It'll add that right action, creates new events. This is if they're not using keyboard. Create a new input instance to assign to the input event, and it does the new, and it assigns the player index, and it creates this. This needs to change to joy because this is different. So this is right. So we're gonna do right X. Then that'll be 1 and stuff like that. We're gonna have player left. This is gonna be left X. So that will fix that one. This is gonna be give me some left, right. Right Y. And this will be left Y. Wait a minute. I'm kind of thinking that this doesn't work. Joy index right. I think this actually both needs to be the same thing. Wait, no, this is joy left. That's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get left. Here, I can confirm this. Let me turn on controller. Go into project settings. Go to filter by event. So that's left. Joystick left. That's joystick right. Joystick down, joystick up, joystick left, joystick. Wait. I think this guy might be using a different setup. That's why it's different. Can I just do joy underscore stick? No, it's axis. We have left X, and then we have right left Y. I think I don't know what what these things are. These global constants. These are that how they work. I'm just gonna assign that to that and just hope for the best. And then we're gonna have an else statement here because this is all under a big if else. All right, so let's get rid of this whole chunk. This chunk is basically what we just had up top. All right, basically the else is use keyboard, and we're gonna use the keyboard as we should. So basically it's gonna set the key right key up, the key down, WASD H J K L. What the frick? Okay, we don't need this. UIOP. We don't need this. Or this. We're gonna get rid of this chunk. We don't need those things. Excellent. Oh, we do need to assign those all these events though. These do need to be updated though, because this guy's using a different coding thing. So key maps not declared. Wait, what's his key maps? Oh, I see. So he's setting like multiple uses of the keyboard. That's interesting. This guy's interestingly smart. He's actually being a little more diverse than I am when my coding. Ooh, smart guy, smart guy. We don't need these two though. I got rid of those. We only need WSD and arrow keys. That's the only thing I recognize as the modern aesthetic. All right, and then finally we have the end of our stuff where we add child, and we do that with player. Booyah, baby. That is how we do it. Broadcast which player hits another. We don't need to worry about that. On hit, on double hit. Okay. All right. So we just programmed out the entire how to add players in this chunk without any testing. I don't actually see how this would work or how this would pick it up automatically. Let me think about this for 1 second. It doesn't instantiate a thing. It's using a couple things I've never used before, so this will be interesting to see. My player scene on its own has a whole movement system. But I kind of want to just take out that movement system and just see how this works on its own. So if I press play, start, it breaks. I do know it breaks. Non-existent function pack scene. Let me, oh wait, what? Wait, where's the function? I hate how this freaking thing works. I want it to take me to where it's supposed to be. Okay, right here, 48. 48 at function, non-existent function instance in base pack scene. So we want to, so we have a player scene, which is the preloaded player. Let me see what functions we have available for this. That's the same thing as instance. So can instantiate, get instantiate, instantiate. I think that's what we want. And then let's do it. Rerun, play. All right, next issue we're running into here is UI input on base character 2 with value type dictionary. Invalid set index. Oh, wait, did I just press? What the? This is invalid set index UI input equals input maps player index. Let me see here. What am I missing? Am I missing something, or is this something, some other issue that's like a syntax issue? Might be a syntax issue here. So this is line 58 or 59. I have a player index function in everything as a total, but UI input with value of type dictionary. Set index UI input. I wonder if this guy's project for player index, range, player index is it int from here. So we got player.player inputs. But the player is a player list object. So we have player list dot append. We're appending from a player scene that's instantiated. And I have it instantiated from my player scene. I wonder if this here, let me back out in this guy's code. Let me go to scenes. Is his player? What type of his player? Type the node 2D. I kind of wonder, can I, yeah, can I add child node? This is just going to be a node 2D. I'm going to make this under all right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna add child. We're gonna do 2D blah 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 character instance rigid body. I'm gonna grab this script, which is character body. Throw that script on there. Detach this script from here. We're gonna call this player. We're gonna change the type of this thing to node 2D. Change that extends node 2D. Oh wait, no. Actually, don't change this. Don't change that. Don't change that. Actually, I think that should be it, right? Let me see. Breaks. Okay, let me. Still breaks at this. Let me rerun this really quick. I think I had a breakpoint there. All right. This value of type dictionary. Invalid set index UI input with value of type blah blah blah. I think we might need to build out this whole chunkalunka here. I think we're going to rename player here, player GD. Wait, not duplicate. We need to rename it to character sprite. because this has the whole idle animation thing in it, so you kind of want to leave that there where it is. Probably can get rid of this to be honest, or just comment that out and that out. Character body 2D already. I think that basically covers that. Then we want to add a script here. Let's attach a script. It's gonna call a player. Let's move scenes around because I don't want it in there. I want this script here. Create. Okay, so this script is going to do a bunch of good stuff. All right, so let's do a function. I'm just gonna let's just do a bunch of fun stuff here. We're gonna copy. Okay. World emits a signal and joystick connects. If player name equals name. Holy crap, how do I do that? I just realized this is a mess. Uh, hard-coded default joystick number for testing. Can I do that? I gotta find this guy has like a whole pooper timer thing. It's kind of funny in a way how this works. I don't think I really need that. How the flip do I do this? Because this guy has a whole setup that like it's connecting to different controller stuff, but like it's not quite connecting the way that I think I would connect, which is the weird thing about it. So I think player size determined by grid size. Wait, what? Gosh. Let me like invalid set index player.ui input on base node 2 with value of type dictionary. Who knew how multiplayer is such a pain in the butt to do? Like multiplayer couch co-op controls, they're kind of a mess. This guy has so much stuff. So this guy has a whole. All right, I'm just gonna look through his code a bit. Let's like look at this thing together. You can see what I'm actually been looking at this whole time. So he readies a function. It's debugging. So he has debugging whole stuff. I'm trying to. Oh, Siegel, welcome to the live stream. We're trying to figure out how to do couch co-op multiplayer in Godot. Basically, the whole idea for today is we're trying to set up so we can have two controllers. And it's dynamically done because yeah, we need to make it dynamic. If it's all hard coded, it's hard code is crap. We don't want hard code. Hard code is not the way to go. Or at least that's the elementary way to go. So we're trying to do it the more advanced way to do it. So I'm trying to read through somebody that has it working, question mark. And we'll see if that actually works. I've kind of like trying to read through this and figure it out myself. A little hard to figure out, but we're getting there. We're getting there. All right, so he has a few things. The only things we care about is main, player, and world. Those are the main three scripts that we care about of his project. But basically, he loads a world scene. He instantiates the world scene. This is an old version of Godot that this is on, but he instantiates the world scene. Set number of players to number of joysticks. World dot number of players equals input dot get connected joypads. Wait a minute. What scenes does he have in his project? He has 3 scenes. He has a player scene, a world scene, and a main scene. So there is a main scene which loads a world scene. That's kind of how we do it. We're kind of doing that ourselves. We are loading here. Let me like. Can I like here, I want to figure out how to let's do some docking stuff here. We don't want oh crap. Ah, how do I redock? I don't know how to redock. Frick. Wait. Oh crap. I just undocked this and I need to redock it now. Show in file source makes it source. Wait. No. One second. Let me stop my game really quick. How do I redock this? This is documentation. Copy resource. Frick. Godot. Oh, I just closed it. Closing it will redock it. Okay. That throws it over there. That throws it in there. That throws it. Tempted to like want it thrown down in the bottom here. How do I want my whole Godot to look? I kind of. If I dock all of these down below, will it like? No, it just sets them all just like on the right or whatever. I don't know if I like the docking system in this thing. It's not too good. I can't throw it here. I can throw it there or there, but I can't throw it down there. That makes no sense. Huh. All right. Well, apparently the docking system works is pretty crappy in Godot. All right. I don't know. I'm just gonna push this to the side and shrink up a couple things. We just need it to look like that. That's good enough. It's a little tight, but that's the best we're gonna do. All right. So let's digest this guy's code. So our game is set up such that we have a play button scene. This instantiates and transitions to the game scene. The game scene is our overall scene over everything. So it's this scene right here, which this game scene will instantiate a menu and a world and stuff like that. It does instantiate the world. So with that in mind, actually, wait, let me check my menu scene really quick. Is my menu scene is just a menu. Yes. Okay. So our game scene is equivalent to their main scene, right? Yes. Our game scene is equivalent to their their big scene, which we have not replicated. Oh. I just realized that we put the code in the wrong stuff scene. All right. Okay, we I'm kind of wondering about making. I have a tutorial scene here because that was going to be my world scene. But what I do is I could actually make it instead be a world scene that instantiates the tutorial scene. The tutorial scene is the start of the game. But yeah, okay, I think I'm going to do it that way. If I do it that way, I think it'll be a little better. So we're going to create a new scene. We're going to call this scene world. Because that's what everyone technically does. They always just, have a world scene. So we will have a world scene. This world scene is going to have a change type. We probably want this to be just plain node. Let's attach a script to this world scene because this world scene is going to need a script very much. So let me put my script in my scripts folder though, because I don't want it to mess up my organization. All right, so we have a world scene. The node. Let me go back then. Let's look at their world scene and see how they build their world scene. So their world scene, that's where they disconnect, reconnect players. So we want to do that with our world scene. So let me go to my game scene and copy and paste the big chunk of stuff to here. So let me, basically it's this whole chunk here. I'm gonna chunk that up. Go to our world scene. Throw that in here. Game scene. We're going to instead instantiate the tutorial scene in our world scene. Our game scene will continue with the settings menu. You want the settings in the world, not the, or in the game, not the world. But we do want these things right here to instantiate in the world. So we have players set in the world rather than other way done. Let's go back to the game scene. So we're pulling that out. We add players. This whole function that we built and the remove player function is going to be taken out of this scene, and we're going to put it in the world scene. Boom. All right. That just migrated everything to a different scene. Okay, so now we are on the same level as most people's builds of how they would do this. So we just have this go from one scene to the next scene to the next scene that then has 3 scenes in it, and it gets kind of confusing, but like that's just object-oriented programming for you. That's just how you do it, I guess. I don't know. Woo, it's gonna get fun in here. Very much fun. All right, so let's take a little look at a couple things. So we got world scene. So the world scene, they have a grid. We don't need to worry about the grid. We're not doing their graphics. We have number of players. I'm setting my number of players to 1. They're setting it default to 4. We don't care about. I just realized this is num, not number. Num players. That's okay. Number of players. They have players. We have a player list. They have input maps. We have input maps. So I just do different coding convention than them. They have random number generator for their stuff. They have load player scene. We have a preload scene as well for preloading the players. And we have an on ready keyboard use kind of thing like they do here. So then we have the ready function. So the ready function does this, and node parent node equals node. Actually, let me open my game scene really quick. We do want to instantiate a world. So we're going to do world equals, there's going to be world equals world, instantiate world, and we're going to get rid of that. We don't need that. And then we're going to throw, instead of this here, we're going to throw the world scene. Oh, yeah. 1 second, wife texting. Okay, my wife is asking me to go do something. Control S, save. Bam, 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 bam. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. So we did all that stuff. I think we're gonna save there, leave it there. We got 10 errors. There's a bunch of stuff that's never used. I'm like, I know, we have a bunch of stuff that's never used, but yeah. And it breaks because we're trying to get this dictionary thing to work. All right, I think we're gonna save it there. We did a bunch of stuff. It's not finished. I'd like to finish this by the end of the day, but I got a lot of stuff I gotta get to. Thank you all for watching. If anybody's left watching, I don't see anybody watching, but hey, thanks if you're watching this in the future. Hopefully you learned something. Maybe you didn't. Probably didn't, because I haven't learned quite that much of anything quite yet, because it's not working yet. What's this work? I declare it as learned. Oh, learned, but yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Thank you all for watching. I'll see y'all later. So like and subscribe, all that stuff. Bye. Bye. Bye.